Hi, creative friends. This is Soraya, and thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to make this video today. It's about soul collage. Now, what on earth does this even mean? So when I went to Oaxaca for Connie Solera's art retreat, I met a fellow artist who was studying to be an art therapist, and we got to talking, and she recommended this book right here. It's called Soul Collage by Seena B Frost, and this lady actually came up with this entire concept. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to try to define the concept of soul collage in a very simplistic way. It is where we get in touch with and feed different parts of ourselves. So say our mind, our heart, our soul, our intuition, our creativity, our light and shadow selves. And this quote over here perfectly illustrates this entire concept. Different aspects of self are fed by different images. The collage is like a picture of a meal of images, which you eat with your eyes. You take in the images, ingest them, then add, delete, combine, digest them, and your soul is nourished. Now, isn't this a delicious invitation to get in touch with those parts of ourselves that are difficult to access? So, the entire premise of this book is built upon the concept of Jungian psychology, archetypes, your subconscious, your collective unconscious, etc. And I first purchased this book about 8 years ago, and I read through it and I made a few cards, but it didn't speak to me like it does now. And I think it's because I am, making this series of videos on Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes and diving into her work, etc., in a deeper way. I am now drawn to this book. So I'm going to read another quote here. And the underpinnings of this book are Jungian psychology. If you have read Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes' book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, you may remember the story of the woman who sang over the dry bones and brought life back into what was surely dead. The story, in brief, tells about an old Indian woman, La Loba, who painstakingly gathers the bones of a wolf from across the desert, finding every bone. She arranges them on the floor of a cave, and then she sings over them. At last, as she continues to sing, the bones come together and take on flesh and hair, and the wolf leaps up alive and runs away. When you gather images from magazines and other sources, cut them and paste them into collages, and then consult them, it can be the same sort of miracle. You gather up your various inner parts, conscious and less conscious, lovable and hateful, beautiful and shadowy, and then you sing over them until they take on a living presence. Using intuition and imagination, creativity, and some discipline, your story can be revealed. You can then more easily honor it, understand it, and share it. The soul collage process is a way to tend to your soul and explore your psyche at the same time. Some of the images you choose will show parts like your nurturer, your organizer, your dancer, or your scared inner child. Other images will be more mysterious and mythical. These images will represent the archetypes who may seem larger than life and mysterious even. These images represent the archetypes that have chosen you and who are guiding you. Now, of course, she goes into a lot of detail here. I'm going to show you some of the cards that not only she has made, but that some of her students have made. And she goes into great detail, like tapping into your inner wisdom and, drawing a community card for your day. Like there's just an unlimited number of ways that you can use soul collage. And the images that you pick, you should try to use your emotional self to pick them. And you can use images from magazines, photographs, books, etc. And some of these images should actually repel you. Like you should fear them. You should be inspired by them. You should be drawn to them. But you should also be like repelled by them, because you are going to be trying to access different aspects of yourself. Like if you want to access and speak to your shadow self, you're probably not going to pick a picture of a beautiful flower, for instance. You might want to pick a picture of a skeleton or, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's so many different images that are going to speak to different aspects of yourself. So I use my soul collage in a little bit of a different way, but I still use the basic concepts that she puts forward in this book. I do not stick my images down because I want to keep on reusing them, and I don't have a lot of magazines right now that I can use, that I can cut up. Like I don't want to destroy the magazines that I have because they're art magazines, etc. So I used some of my daughter's old children books, and actually I'm loving some of the images that have come out. Like this is actually a cat that, you know, somebody turned into a human, and it actually looks very primitive, but I am so drawn to it. And this is what I mean. Like it doesn't have to make sense to your, you know, your mind. This is just things that are going to speak to you in an archetypal way. These are symbols, ideas, memories, dreams, etc. Now, before I continue, I just want to make a difference between these collages here and a soul collage. So when I make these collages over here, I'm using this as a learning tool to strengthen my visual language in my art. So I'm learning about things like color, line, composition, etc., etc. But when I am making a soul collage, I am doing none of that. I am getting in touch with my creativity and so much more. So you can use this to access, say, your child self, to heal childhood trauma, to heal generational patterns that don't serve you anymore. You can use it to access, say, a vision of what you want your future self to be. There is really no limit to how you can use this. Now, generally, what I do is I get out a journal that I can write in, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to speak everything out loud. So you can either write things down, or you can speak it out loud to yourself. So what I am going to do is I am going to ask myself a question or a prompt or a deeper inquiry, if you will. Now, some great prompts could be, what am I afraid of? That's a great prompt. Another thing could be, what gifts do I want to bring into my life right now? Another one that I use a lot is, what does my creativity need from me to feel safe so I can bring my work into the world? Another good prompt is, what are some limiting beliefs that are holding me back? But like I said, you know, you can use these prompts to get in touch with, say, your inner child. So you can write a prompt that says, what did my child self need to feel loved and seen and safe? Something like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask myself a question. And like I said, normally I would just write this down in my journal. So the one I am going to go with is, what gifts do I want to bring into my life right now? That is the prompt I'm going to use. So I'm going to start picking out my images, and instantly I already know I want to bring my totem pole cat into the mix here. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, try to, I like that. Let's put that over there. And I'm gonna like pick out my images. And I tend to use photographs, and because I don't stick them down, I can just like, you know, put it down here and then pick it up. But if you are going to collage it onto a piece of paper, what I would do is photocopy it. You can do it either in color or black and white, and that way you don't have to destroy the photograph. And I really love that image, but I don't know if I want to bring that into the mix right now. I think I'm gonna use this lady right here. I'm really drawn to her. And this is from a photography book, I think. Ooh, and I really love this image right there. Nope. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to use these prompts, and this is all set forth by this lady right here in this book. And what she says is you write down or you speak out loud, I see. So I'm going to speak everything out loud. I see a lot of expansiveness. I see a protector of my creativity. I see open possibilities. I see grounding. I see wisdom and presence and kindness. And I don't know if the camera can pick up on this, but she has this like kind of a brooch over here, and it says I am. So I really love that because it just speaks of possibilities. And over here I see spiritual gifts, the interior realm of possibilities. So I see all of these things. Now remember, the prompt that I ask is, what gifts do I want to bring into my life right now? So all of these things that I see are going to give me clues about what the gifts are that I'm bringing into my life. Now I'm going to go with I feel. So I feel protected. I feel calm. I feel expansive. I feel wise. I feel nourished. Now I'm going to go with I wonder. I wonder what I could create if I had all of these aspects in my life. And now I'm going to use the prompt, I am one who. I am one who weaves magic into the mundane. I am one who sees something in my mind and is able to bring it out into the world. I am one who is always growing. So don't think too much, just go with whatever wants to come up and try not to judge any of it, just kind of go with it. Now, working in this way is going to develop your creativity, your intuition. It's going to encourage self-discovery, and it's going to allow you to speak to your shadow self, your future self. And what this is going to do is it's going to create shifts in your understanding of yourself. It is magical and healing and full of possibilities. You guys, there is an endless way that you can use these Soul Collage lessons. So if you guys are interested in working in this way, I will leave the name of the book in the description below, and I hope that this has been helpful to you. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.